Hello, everybody. It's me, John White, with another episode of this boxing game, my irregular boxing podcast, where I just sit and vent on various issues regarding the sport, whether past or present. I'm a great amateur historian of boxing. I write articles in the Morning Star every 2 weeks, and I like to cover a lot of historical themes, fighters, fights, periods. This upcoming weekend, I've got an article in about the great black novelist Richard Wright's treatment of Joe Louis when Joe Louis was tearing his path through the heavyweights in the 1930s, and how Wright saw us as symbolised a new black man. He gave hope to put upon black communities at that time when Jim Crow, the apartheid system against blacks in the Deep South, was still extinct and racism was rife in America, institutionally and politically and socially. It was a cancer. So this is this weekend's article. I think you might find it interesting. It's an interesting period. Joe Louis, as everybody knows, predated Muhammad Ali. He's a different character than Muhammad Ali. He was quiet, he was humble, but as Richard Wright avers, he did his speaking in the ring at a time when the Ku Klux Klan was never stronger in America. But anyway, I want to talk in this podcast today about a British fighter who I believe has been criminally underappreciated, certainly since he's retired. You never see him doing punditry. You hardly ever see him being interviewed by the boxing commentariat, even though he retired undefeated. And I wonder if that's due to him not wanting to take part in boxing in his retirement, or, as I believe it might well be, his face doesn't fit. He's not part of the usual cliques that surround the various promoters and broadcasters. And that fighter is, of course, Joe Calzaghe, to my mind, the finest British super middleweight to ever grace a boxing ring, here or overseas. And that's saying something when you think of the vast array of British super middleweight talent we have had in this country. Chris Eubank Sr., Chris Eubank Jr., George Groves, Carl Froch, Richie Woodall, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, Robin Reid, with whom Calzaghe had a very controversial fight back in the day. A vast array of British super middleweight talent has there been in this country, but I think Calzaghe is a cut above them all. I think his hand speed, his engine, he was like a 20-round fighter. He was a throwback. He was a beast when it came to his cardio. His feet were excellent. He had a great chin, grit, determination. And he was very educated in the ring in the way that he chose his combinations and his shots and his moments. When he bamboozled Jeff Lacey, even though he had brittle hands at the time, he just kept stepping to the side. Jeff Lacey couldn't get off, and Jeff Lacey was hyped up to be the new Mike Tyson, the super middleweight version of Mike Tyson, and he was never the same fighter after Calzaghe just gave him a torrid time that night in the UK in Cardiff. Calzaghe was also renowned for his training techniques, which were set around these massive, tortuous hill runs in the valleys in South Wales where he lived, Newbridge. His endless rounds of sparring, just putting a premium on cardio, especially towards the end, to compensate for his brittle hands. He was never known as a hard puncher, but 32 knockouts out of 46 fights is not a bad record. That's a decent KO percentage. I think Calzaghe would have made Carl Froch look silly. And I think Calzaghe, and some of you will find this controversial, in his prime would have beaten in prime Canelo. When I think about what Floyd Mayweather Jr. did to an in-prime Canelo, who was in his early 20s when he faced Mayweather Jr., and Mayweather Jr. was in his 30s. Mayweather Jr. just schooled him the whole night. He made him look like a rank amateur, the way that he just got off his combinations. He smashed his punches through Canelo's high guard time after time. Canelo couldn't find the target. He struggled the whole night with Mayweather's shoulder roll and his counter punching. But I think Calzaghe would have done a similar job for similar reasons. He was an equally accurate puncher as Floyd Mayweather. He had great movement side to side. He found great angles for his shots and just that terrific hand speed. Hand speed is the great equaliser in a boxing ring, and Calzaghe certainly had that in abundance, and he had to adapt his style to his brittle hands. He went in for these quick, rapid, short punches arm punches. It was an accumulation of punches that did the damage in the latter stages of his career. Some people used to call them slaps. You deride him for that. I think that was deceiving. I think that's unfair. I think he found a way to win, as all great champions do, in the teeth of physical adversity and limitations imposed by Mother Nature. Great fighter, had some classic fights. The Robin Reed fight was very controversial. I watched it last night to prepare for this, and I would still give Calzaghe the nod. I think he did enough to win. I think he was fantastic against Roy Jones. I know it was an aged Roy Jones, but that was an aged Joe Calzaghe. And the Hopkins fight was equally a very interesting fight. I, like all of you, wish that Calzaghe had gone to America much earlier in his career. I think he was badly promoted at various points, and I think even when he was at his prime, he was underappreciated. Was it because he's Welsh? Was it because he was stuck in Wales and he wasn't prominent in the media? This was the age before social media when he was fighting. But nevertheless, he criminally underappreciated when he was fighting, and criminally underappreciated now in retirement. The man was undefeated, for fuck's sake. 46 fights. Yes, his record isn't padded with a who's who of household names, but he fought whoever was put in front of him. And 46 unbeaten, I don't care who he fights, that's quite an achievement in of itself. I know that Sylvester Stallone rated Calzaghe very highly. If you want to credit Sylvester Stallone's opinions on boxing, I think credit Sylvester Stallone is a student of the game, and he knows his onions when it comes to boxing. I just wonder why Calzaghe is not doing punditry. I'd like to hear his views on fights. I'm sick of the same fucking pundits. You know what they're going to say before they say it. We know they've got their favourites. I think punditry, boxing punditry, it needs fresh talent in Britain. It's pales in comparison to its US counterpart. We need people who are willing to tell the truth and take the flak for telling the truth. It's like this cosy consensus around the various promoters and broadcasters where you can only criticise a fighter or a fight or a result beyond a certain point, and then you're mugged off and you're never seen again, and you worry about your position. There's something fundamentally wrong about the way the sport's organised in terms of its relationship with the media and the fighters and the promoters. I've been there. I used to cover Ricky Burns' fights when he was fighting in Glasgow 12 years ago, and I used to get press passes, and you just knew the dynamic. If you want to get another press pass and you want to get access again, then you just watch what you say, even if there's something that needs to be said. It's very unhealthy, it's very unseemly, and it should change. Anyway, this is my take on Joe Calzaghe. It'd be interesting to read your comments, and I put a tribute to Calzaghe at the end of this broadcast. Peace out.
That Eubanks experienced in his career. Oh, he's down. to clinically pick him apart. He wants that finish here, and he might get it too. With the heavier punches, oh, lovely left hook there. He's game.